Heat is too much to handle this weekend. Head to the movies. That's where the air conditioning is, and also where you will find Men in Black 3.
You saw it?
It's a lot of fun. I don't like 3D movies. I don't like putting on those glasses.
I don't either.
It's sort of crazy, but Barry Sonnenfeld, who's the director of this movie, has this thing about, he says, they always put the characters back in the 3D and they make the other stuff go around it. He puts the characters to the front of the 3D, and that way everything looks and seems like it's in the audience and looks a lot better. Here's a little 25-second, 30-second look at the movie so you can get a feel for it in 2D.
All you gotta do is jump. You have got 24 hours. After that, there is no coming back.
Hey, man, hey, how old are you?
29.
Oof. You got some city miles on you.
Is he just as funny?
Josh
And the others?
Brolin. Oh yeah, Will Smith is great in this thing. He's great in everything he does. And Josh Brolin comes in to play the young Tommy Lee Jones. But first, we're going to talk to Will Smith about this. Third time back, he's one of the biggest box office stars in the world. He's a cool guy, nice guy in the world. And this is what he talked about in terms of coming back to do Men in Black 3.
Why the idea of the time travel was so great is the dynamic of Agent J and Agent K is better when K is the commander and J is the rookie. So we were trying to figure out how to get J to be a fish out of water, and the time jump really worked out.
You had a lot more chances than usual to make a lot of faces in this movie.
Yeah.
You were making some faces I never saw in your head before.
I know. You know, what I love is it's such a strange world, right? The world of the Men in Black is such a bizarre space. And, you know, there's aliens, but it's dead serious. You know, it's not it's funny, but it's not a joke.
You take the outrageous for granted.
Yes, absolutely. I like that. I'm going to use that quote.
Well, you got it.
Thank you, man.
It's all yours. I like this guy a lot.
He's great.
Yeah, he is just terrific. So, so Josh Brolin, you know, he also played W. You know, he played the President Bush, and he was so terrific in that. Yet it's hard to see him as doing anything else. So then he came to play Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones is an easy guy to imitate. So he really got in and does a great job, as you'll see. So I asked him a question like, you know, you learn to play W so much, you learn to play Tommy Lee Jones so much. Do you ever find yourself talking like that, like in real life, sometime in a conversation by accident? And this is what he had to say.
W I did for a long time. Every joke that I told always ended up sounding like W, which was really disconcerting, which was awful, actually, especially in like a really liberal neighborhood or a liberal bar. No, not with Tommy. I don't know why. I think Tommy was much more difficult for me to learn than W was.
It's not as broad. It's like...
No, it's very musical. You know, I always describe it like you know, there's a great place in San Francisco called Lark in the Morning, and they have all these instruments that you've never seen, you know, these kind of weird experimental instruments that Tom Waits plays or something. That's how I see Tommy.
Yeah, yeah. Sort of a cadence kind of thing, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a total cadence. There's lilts and there's cadences that I don't know if are cultivated or whether he was born like that. Did he sound like this as a kid, you know, when he was 4 years old when he said his first words? Mommy. You know, did he say that?
Could you imagine that?
Did he say, "Mommy"? You know,
a little guy like that looks just the same.
No, I know,
with
but talking like, yeah, kid in diapers talking like Tommy.
When I talk to him, it's always funny to remember that Barbara Streisand's his mother-in-law. It's sort of like, it's a crazy thing to me. Always sort of funny to recall. Okay, so Tommy Lee Jones. I always talk about Tommy Lee Jones as the worst guy in the world to talk to.
You have said that on many occasions.
I've talked to him for years and years and years. I always loved his work. I like him in the movies. To talk to him is a nightmare. I've seen him make people cry. He's just like, I don't know what happens to him. He gets this interview kind of thing, and he gets adversarial, contrary, and he's a really weird dude, as you'll see. So I talked to Barry Sonnenfeld, who's the director of this movie. I love him. I talked to him about, you know, what's it like to be, you know, to work with Tommy Lee, and then I also talked to James Brolin. So what I did was I put the director, a little Tommy Lee, a little Josh Brolin, and a little Tommy Lee, so you can sort of get a contrast and feel of what it's like to go on one of these things and talk to Tommy Lee Jones. I hope it works. Check it out.
We get along incredibly great. I know that he can be intimidating to others, but he's not to me. You know, occasionally Tommy will say, "This doesn't make sense. I wouldn't do this. This doesn't make," and I would say, "You know what? Just do it." And he go, "Okay."
I love you.
Yeah. So go in there and tell him that.
I will tell him.
See what happens.
So what's it like jumping back into the black suit again?
It's another day at the office.
Doesn't matter, huh? Doesn't matter what the role is. You go there and you just go to work, like at the office, huh?
Yeah.
So really, we need to go right now.
All right.
And to see you play Tommy Lee Jones, the friendliest, happiest man in the world.
Truly.
You were
He's
wonderful.
a barrel of laughs, man. I love that guy.
He's a fun guy to talk to, especially if you're in the
have
press.
fun. I do have fun talking to him. I know you guys have more trouble talking to him. I have a great time talking to him.
Your character's become sort of an iconic character, don't you think?
I don't know. Maybe. I've been doing these public relations interviews for 24 hours, and that's the 10th time I've heard the word iconic used.
Really? So,
I'm keeping count.
well, it's a good.
I'm counting all the words, actually.
Well,
For that one, that one's 10.
that's 10. What other word have you heard a lot today?
Most of them just once.
That was the soft side of
Are
Tommy Lee
you
Jones.
serious?
I said, so what do you think of this movie in 3D? I haven't seen a 3D movie since I was 7 years old.
I would have
So
got
are you
it.
going to see this one? Maybe. It's like this guy, I think he needs an enema.
I would have got up and slapped him. He needs something.
He's something else, but he sure is good in the
Barrel
movie.
of laughs.
Yeah, he's a barrel of laughs. But every time you go to see him, man, I tell you, everyone comes out sweating. And in fact, this last time I noticed that the young lady who hosts the morning show in Los Angeles, Dorothy, came out of that room crying.
Are you serious?
That's how bad he is, yeah. He's something else.
Put him in his place.
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds easy.